So, in the wake of the Azeri invasions in 2022, Pashinyan invited EU observers to watch Armenia's borders with Azerbaijan. The size of the mission grew from an initial 50-ish observers to several hundred today. And in October 2023, as you mentioned, Canada announced that it was contributing observers as well. But the number of people contributed by Canada was reported to be only two, I think. So can you tell us what are the EU observers doing in Armenia? What is their main objective? And also, what was the reasoning for Canada to join the mission?
So the role of the mission is very much a civilian observation mission. So again, it's not a military mission. It's not armed. This is not a threat to anyone. What it is as I say, a unarmed civilian observer mission that's deployed along the border regions to help try and reduce tensions. Again, just given the nature of the area and the ongoing disputes over the exact delimitation of the border, there are many places where you have armed forces of both countries in close proximity to each other, and there is always the risk of an incident or an accident that could trigger conflict, and as we've seen too often, that can result in casualties. So the hope is that, and not just the hope, but the experience has been that since the deployment of the mission, there has been a significant reduction in those tensions and the risk of those incidents in the border areas where they're deployed. So Canada, we very much support the goal of reducing tensions and avoiding conflict. And as we have done in many other countries, by participating in the EU mission, we can contribute to that objective. Again, the EU collectively, with all of its member countries, is much larger than Canada. So we would not necessarily have the capacity to deploy a Canadian-only mission in all contexts. So, but providing a Canadian contribution to the EU mission is our way of supporting, just as we have, over the decades, provided contributions to UN observer missions or peacekeeping missions. Mm-hmm. So this role is something that we see as just a very tangible example of how Canada can work with our EU partners on the shared objective that we all have of reducing tensions, and then hopefully that being another factor that can contribute to a full peace agreement at some point.
Ambassador Turner, based on the sort of very cursive research that I did, this is the first time that we've seen a non-EU member state officially included in the EU monitoring mission. Perhaps maybe there is, but we just haven't found the instances of that. Is it possible that other non-EU states may also join this mission in the future, if you're aware, of course? We understand that your sort of perspective as an ambassador, is slightly different than being the head of the mission. So, feel free to not answer if you don't have the level details. But the reason I'm asking this is because there have been concerns in the Armenian opposition about Turkey potentially being included in this mission in the future. And is it possible that the mission will expand to other non-EU member states in the future?
First of all, I would say that there have been other examples where, as certainly Canada and I believe other countries have contributed to other EU missions of this kind. And again, there may be slight variations in the focus, but we've done participation in police missions, things like that. So there certainly are precedents, and again, this is just an example in which Canada and the EU, because we are so aligned in many places, that this is one mechanism that we do use. It's not done all the time, but it is a tool that does exist. Again, it needs to be. It is up to the EU to decide. So in some cases, they will assess, no, with the mission, the size of the mission is something we can manage ourselves within our member states. And so they would not always open every one of these missions make them open to other countries. But in this case, there was a decision following discussions between High Representative Borrell and Minister Joly, and then between the bureaucracies to implement, the decision was taken to open this to Canadian participation. It is certainly possible that it could be open to further third parties, but that would be a decision for the EU to take. I have no idea if Ankara is interested in putting forward members to take part, and likewise, I couldn't speak for the EU if they would be open to that possibility. I think, given that you would need to get an agreement between Armenia as the host, the EU as the organizer of the mission, and the other country. So, if you're saying in this case Turkey, given that there are clear issues at stake there in terms of more challenging relations and complications, that I think would obviously require a lot of discussion, I think, for everyone to be comfortable with it. So again, as I said, I have no idea if there are any such discussions are taking place, but certainly if your concern is there a scenario in which a third country, be it Turkey or any other country, would be able to join the mission without the permission or the agreement of everyone, including the Armenians?
Including Armenia.
Then that certainly would not be the case.
Hope you enjoyed this clip from our podcast. Click on the link to listen to the entire episode. And remember, your support helps us get the word out. So please donate to us at podcasts.groong.org or scan the barcode on your screen. Please like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our content with your network. Thanks in advance.